Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. It's been a long week. It's actually been a little longer than a week since we last talked. Yeah, it's been probably 10, 11 days since the last pod, and it's been kind of bittersweet. I had to tear down the old Unscripted studio, which sucked because, like, I don't know, the other studio was we just kind of built it to use for other shit. It wasn't intended to just be a podcast set. And it ended up becoming like kind of perfect for what I was doing. So like I ended up loving it. But yeah, it was weird. You know, I tore it down when we were getting ready to move out and put all the shit into boxes because it just had to come down. And honestly, like the background was like some cheap facade. It was worn out and the lights had to come down. It just wouldn't have made sense to keep it up while we were getting ready to list the house. But yeah. Anyways, it's been a minute. Had to take all that shit down, put it into boxes, put it into the trash. Some of it, unfortunately, there you never saw it, but on the Unscripted set, there was like this green piece of lawn that you'd get at like Home Depot. And yeah, it was just weird. It was weird taking it all down. I had like tape on the ground, like mark everything, make sure I didn't lose fucking track of like where the desk was or where the little items on the desk were. It was very like as shitty as it made it sound, it was way more professionally thought out than maybe you would think. But yeah, a little bittersweet. Moving's interesting because it brings up a lot of memories and stuff. But over the past year, I'd say maybe a year and a couple months, that Unscripted set was something nice. It was kind of like ceremonial to go out there every week and do the show. So it's been interesting. All the thoughts that come to mind while you're moving. And that's kind of like, last week or the week, whatever, fucking last episode, number 60, was really about like moving out and moving on. And I kind of feel like that's where I'm at, like mentally and spiritually, emotionally. I feel like I'm moving into a new chapter of life, moving into a new place, and just my time at the other house was like good and like a lot of personal growth and stuff. But I do feel like, I don't know, there was something about tearing down the podcast set that like, it wasn't like dramatic, but it felt like, all right, moving on, new chapter. And yeah, but I mean, dude, this past week has been nonstop, like preparing the house for market. It's just been fucking cleaning. It's been fucking boxing everything up. Like literally my life is in boxes right now. It's actually kind of fucking annoying because I have so much shit I didn't even think I had. And then I have so much shit that I actually like value. That's not even true. It's like I have shit that I value, like all the like camera gear, the computer and stuff. Like I put high value on that. A lot of my wealth is invested into that. Let's say that. Whereas like clothes and shit, I'm kind of like, fuck, I forgot I had this. Like that shit I don't really care about. But like, dude, Stevie, Christine, and I, we had a field day. We had to fucking completely unload the house. Everything. I'm talking like every fucking drawer, utensils, fucking measuring cups, pantry. I mean, it's ready to be, someone else can like move in there. Actually, it's weird. I've been staying at the old house, right? I'm kind of between places. I'm between my parents and I'm between my fucking previous home. My previous home I go back to at night to sleep. I don't even shower there. We had it like deep cleaned by this cleaning service and they charge way too fucking much. But besides the point, I'm like, well, I don't want to pay a fucking again to have somebody come back. I also don't want to like keep having to clean my house every fucking day. It feels a little insane. It's driving me insane. And I basically have just been like sleeping in the bed. I wake up, I go, Steve and I have been hitting fucking 7-Eleven for coffee. 7-Eleven, surprisingly good Colombian roast. We're just on this hype this week. Maybe we've been sleeping on it. I kind of just mentioned it the other day. It's like, like gas station coffee's not so bad. And then we're like, well, what's the best thing we can get? Like 7-Eleven. So we went, I think the farmer's market was going on or some shit downtown. We're like, fuck it, let's just hit it. No, we walked. For the first time since we was in our neighborhood, there's 2 7-Elevens probably in like, I don't know, a couple blocks of each other. You could probably they're probably the exact distance from where we're at. And we finally walked. It was probably a 20-minute walk, but it was like, all right, fuck it. Let's get a cup of coffee. And also the house has no amenities. Like our coffee pot's not in there. I'm like fucking middle of the day. I'm like, what do I do? Like my schedule's thrown off. So we walk and we get a cup of 7-Eleven coffee. And like I said, Colombian roast, very fucking surprisingly good. It's a sleeper coffee for like a $3 cup. Not bad, Anyways, I digress. Packing everything up, not wanting to sleep at the house, nothing there. The only thing we have is our TV at this point that's still mounted to the wall. So we've been playing like fucking Mario Kart, and fucking, Nintendo Switch 2, whatever, and watching TV. That's like all we can do. And it's kind of like, all right, how much fucking TV can I watch in a day? Like at this point, I feel like I've moved out despite the house not having not been sold yet. And I'm like living also like at my parents' house, like during the day, like I'm showering here, I'm eating breakfast fucking here. I'm like driving over in the morning because we've been doing showing. So like people are coming to the house to see it. And it's also like, it's been a whole fucking thing. Right. On that note, I have found a new place. I'm not going to disclose the new place just for privacy reasons, but yeah, it's going to be nice. looking forward to getting in there. It is contingent upon our house selling. There's a little bit of fucking other little minutia in there, but basically, yeah, it's like everything's trucking along in that respect. It has been a little bit of a bitch because like look at like right now I'm even like shooting in here. As far as like podcast and creation goes, especially podcasts, because like everything, like I put everything away. I think my expectations were like, all right, like we bought, we'll list, we'll sell. It'll all boom, boom, boom. And it's obviously things take time, but knowing what we know about real estate and everything, I think it'll be fine. Besides the point, it's just been a little difficult to like create as much as I want to. Also, like having to put the gear away. Like I haven't been able to just get the camera out like I was the past few weeks. I've been talking a lot about shooting, a lot about going out. I could. It's just been like I said, everything's like it's like fucking living on a movie set. Don't touch anything. And it's also like that shit's put away. It's like it's put away. Like even getting this shit out today, I'm like, fuck. I'm gonna have to put literally everything I brought back away, like stored, because it's the only way I can do it right now. But yeah, it's been funny living at that house, living here, like living here since of like the daytime. I'm here till like 8 or 9 at night, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going back to my bed just to sleep. But yeah, it's been funny. Having showings at the house and people come through, you know, I've been staying in like, it's funny. I'll say this. So Christina's really been showing the house. My mom, Stevie, sometimes he's kind of like, he and I kind of like, all right, we'll hang out. But I've had to put like my cat, Princess, into the fucking garage during these showings because I can't really like, I was like, maybe I'll drive around with her. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to drive around with a cat for 3 hours. She's going to freak out the whole time, stress her out. So I've been putting her in a little like, you know, the fucking vet bag in the garage, right? That's been my strategy. We take the cat box out, take the cat out. And we're like, all right. And she's quiet. She'll meow a little bit here and there, but she just wants to be pet or like, she wants to know that you're there. That's it, right? She's very, very fucking good in the bag. But it's just funny because I'm out in this garage and I have like a bottle of water. I got my phone. Maybe I'll fucking throw on the news or like a podcast or something. Just something to pass the time. It's usually like a 3-hour pod. I can't leave the cat. You know, like when they say don't leave a kid in the car, especially at hot weather or some shit. That's how I feel about the cat. I'm like, yeah, like if somebody came out here during the fucking open house and saw a cat in a bag, they'd probably be like, who the fuck is locking this animal up like freight and just storing it out here? So I've been like staying with the cat in the garage. And people like they'll open the door and shit, but like when they're coming up to the house, I can fucking hear them through like the garage. I can hear people inside. I'm like eavesdropping just by like fucking not intentionally, but it's just where I'm at. Like I can hear everybody talking. I can also hear people like before they get in the house and hear their commentary as they walk up. But Stevie even said it. He's like, hey dude, like I come out here and you're just in the garage. He's like, it's like fucking Parasite. He's like, you're in here just fucking not creeping, but he's like, if you didn't know I was the homeowner and there's just some guy out in the garage, it is funny. So anyway, it's been kind of a running joke, like parasiting out in the fucking garage during these open houses. And it's been a whole thing. Like I said, it's been a whole thing. It's been very alternative schedule-y for me. Like, cause my schedule is usually pretty like the thing I don't like about moving is that like I had a routine. I had a schedule. I woke up, I fucking got coffee, made a pot, whatever. I did my little like, you know, morning news, kind of fucking scan through shit, just saw what the day was, what's the fucking flavor of the day. I'd hit fucking the gym or I'd fucking take a walk, come home, I'd fucking work on creative shit all the way till night, business shit all the way till night, just all day long. Just get back to it. I go shoot some fucking footage. I love making the most of my day. I think the most valuable asset in life is fucking time. And when I waste it, it's just frustrating. I love saving time. And anyways, it's been a little off. Stevie and I have made our way to the gym a few times this week, thankfully, and he's been stretching and doing like red light room therapy shit. I don't know, but it's just the discipline of it is so important because like dude, getting off track and like hitting the slippery slope of indulgence and just fucking, you know, laziness, like it can get you, especially when you're moving, you're kind of already exhausted. Like dude, I've been like worn out from fucking moving, like mentally and fucking emotionally. I'm just like fucking like I have no bandwidth for anything but moving right now. And well, that's not true because I'm still doing creative shit. But yeah, just even being able to go to the gym, like I felt so much fucking better. I felt so much better just taking walks, just fucking getting out of the house a little bit and like feeling a little bit of my past routine. But like I said, I'm in a transitional period. So it's like the routine was good, but moving into a new, I wouldn't call it chapter. I guess it is a chapter, but new like environment as well. It's just everything's going to change. I've been going to the new place. We've been hanging out. Just, you know, seeing what work needs to be done. If there's anything that's like minor or major just to repair before we get in, but I won't get too much into the house, but I really like it. It's closer to nature. It's going to be a lot more, how do I say, kind of more like how I grew up, which is nice. Like I haven't, you know, I've been living in the city and the city's just not like, dude, I'm not a townie. I'm not a city person. And like, I've realized that it's different when you're living in like LA, like, you know what you're getting yourself into. You're like Los Angeles, like I'm going to be fucking in the heart of the beast. That's fine. Belly of the beast, whatever you want to call it. But living in like town here, it's just like, it's just different. People are different. The vibe's different. It's loud. It's noisy. it's just there's constant, like, it's not loud and noisy. It's just like there's constant shit going on. Like out in the countryside, you can really slow down. Like I remember, like I used to just think so much because I just out here taking walks in nature. Something about being close to nature. I think that's it. Town is just busy. Stevie said it best. You walk outside your house and you're in public. Always. Like there's no privacy. And even if you live in, like, I grew up in like a countryside neighborhood, and like even when you're out here, it feels like even if it's not your land, you just feel like it's just everyone's. Like you're not like, oh, this is public. You're just like, this is just like, I walk here privately. It feels like it's mine when I'm walking here. But I know other people use it. And it's like there's almost like this, like, I don't know, peace of mind, sense of just like, I don't know, mental clarity when you're out here. You can really think. You're not overwhelmed by all the shit going on around you. When you're walking in the city, like I'm constantly looking for cars. When you're out in the countryside, you're looking for fucking, I don't know, you just get lost in the moment. It's really fucking nice. And I'm looking forward to that. There are a lot of trails in the new place I'm going. So excited about that. And everybody's excited about it. It's definitely, like I said, the right decision too right now for us. But anyways, doing that, the move's been taken up. Like I'm talking about it. Can you hear myself talk about the move? And it's just like, it's been what I've been doing. Aside from that, I did just get a bunch of, got a box full of fucking author copies of the Filmmaker Mindset, the book I just wrote. It's funny. I had the printed version sent to me, right? And it's like the demo version, and it says like not for resale on it. It's kind of just like, hey, like this is your test version. And I read it and I was like, this is perfect. It's like, it's amazing that I could like create this and have this come out. And I fucking ordered like author copies. So I got like a box of like 10 or 20. And I was just going through it and just like I got caught up even reading it. And it's just cool. It's like I'm very proud of the book. I also think it's extremely practical. Stevie's read it and he's even just like a little like page turner. And it's not the most what do you call it? Novelistic type writing. It's very like, their affirmations are quick, but like it's almost just like you read it and it's just like you could read it every day. It's interesting. I've been reading it every day. I just like, and I don't even read the whole thing. Sometimes I read like 10 or 20, or maybe I'll read fucking 40. It just doesn't matter. It's just interesting that like the way I wanted the book to come out, it came out so close to what I imagined it would be. And it's also just like, I'd say it's very agreeable when you read it. Like, yes, of course, a lot of these are truths that are probably already within you, but like you can identify with them. I certainly relate to them. They're my, fucking ideas and, feelings towards like creation, especially filmmaking in particular. But some of the truths that are written in there are universal to everything. So I'm not even trying to pitch it. It was just exciting to get the copies of the book. I want to get some of the copies out to people too. I'm just going to keep buying them and like, I think, try and get them out there for people. And if you're already following me and want to buy it, go for it. It's on Amazon and also my personal website. There is a fucking link to the digital version. They're both $10, but yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's cool. And it also made me really think like, it's just another door has opened that I can continue to use like my passion, my skill, and like I think is my God-given talent to continue working forward. Writing books is like something that's always been way more intimidating to me than say like writing a movie. Writing a movie for me is just like, it's like that scene in Good Will Hunting when he's like, this shit right here, like this is fucking whatever, child's play to me or whatever. It's fucking just for me personally, I just like understand that medium. Like I get movies. Writing a book was a different animal. It was fucking way different. Honestly, it was way more fucking work in my opinion to do because aside from like, there's technical shit too. Like I had to make the cover and there's like fucking dimensions. That was fucking difficult. But like really thinking about like, how do I want it to look? How do I want it to read? How much is too little? How much is too much in terms of the literature? Cause I felt like when I was making it, I'm like, God damn, like, is this enough? And then I'd read like other like books, like kind of in the same category as mine. And I'd be like, no, like there's a reason, like I read this book and identified with it or related to it. There's something that was so clear about the language. And so I wouldn't call it simplified. It's sophisticated, but abbreviated. And it makes sense when you read it. Like that is how it should be said. And I think that's what I liked about a lot of like even books on like stoicism or even like classic Marcus Aurelius shit. It's just like it's written out in a way like his shit, depending on the version you read, can be very fucking, how do I say, not flamboyant, but like it's flowery. There's a lot to it. And then some of it's more like fucking modernized where you read it and you're like, okay, I get exactly what he's trying to say here. Or they just take the one line that really like the meat of the fucking, quote. But yeah, if it's not even like quotes, they're fucking affirmations in the filmmaker mindset. But anyways, super happy with it. I'm thinking about maybe doing something. I'd like to do something where I either do like a screening of the movie or maybe I do like I wouldn't call it a book signing. I think it's a little ridiculous. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves here to do a signing. But like if I did something, even like live podcast, I think bringing the books or including them, maybe in like, if you bought like a fucking ticket to come or something, like giving a copy of the book out, like be something I would love to do because I think like one, everyone who is interested in film should read it because it gives you like reassurance that you yourself can actually fucking go out and make a movie. And two, I think it's just like, it's a way for the book to get out there and get known in an organic way because like, look, like I have no problem just giving away a copy, like, selling it is fucking dope. But like also if somebody just read it and liked it and passed it along, like word of mouth is something that I feel like obviously the internet's here. No one's saying it's fucking going away. Marketing and digital ads is here, but it's almost so saturated. I feel like I, at this point, would rather somebody be like, hey dude, like check out this fucking book. Or I take people's recommendations pretty serious. When somebody tells me like, go check this out, I usually fucking look it up. If somebody tells me watch a movie, I actually usually do it. I also usually think I'm going to talk to that person again and probably have a conversation about it. That is just, I think it's the nature of my way. And I don't think it'd be far off from the nature of many other human beings. And I think like this all kind of goes into like, I won't get too deep into this because this is a tangent, but like the digital era, it almost feels like we're getting to a point where it's hit peak capacity. People are almost like, fuck the internet, fuck being chronically online, fuck, not being able to hold something in my hand. There's something about the palpable holding something like a CD or a VHS or a DVD or a video game that it feels good. I remember also like, just like I posted it in my story the other day, but I was talking about Hollywood video and just like, I said I would talk about this on here, but like this goes into my thing. There used to be something about like going and having limited options. You could pick 3, right? Maybe pick 5, right? 5 movies. And you know what? If you don't get what you want this week, you can come back and do it again. You get what you pay for, get a couple movies, watch them. You'll watch them a couple times. If I had a good VHS tape, I'd watch it all week until my mom fucking took it back. And even just owning a VHS, it was like, fuck yeah, I own it. Now, if I really want to enjoy this, I can watch it anytime. I understand click to stream. Like I get it. Like it's the availability's there, but it's almost like accessibility has become so accessible. It's made things feel almost valueless to the point where it's like, there is no like specialness. Like, hey, like I got a copy of this. We can finally watch it. It's like, well, if we want, we can just buy it right now. Everything's commoditized to the point where it feels like valueless. I know it sounds bad, but even music used to have so much fucking value. You could go out and buy a CD or buy an album. Now it's just like, well, I can stream every fucking song for $5 a month or $10 a month. Excuse me. It just, it almost takes away the specialness of it. And I heard somebody say this the other day. I can't remember who it was. And maybe I quoted them on the podcast a few episodes within the last 3 or 4, that exclusivity will be the new like currency of like, well, how can I see it? Like, how can I get a copy of this? And like, I even think like, this goes into like everything I've been talking about, like on Unscripted. I feel like even if I made another movie, like, yeah, like roadshow it, tour it, let people fucking come to you to see it, add some value to it in the sense of like, if you really care to fucking see this, or you liked what you saw in the trailer and want to see it, come meet us, come see us, come hang out, come talk. Let's tell you about how we made the movie. And if you like it, fucking even better, go tell somebody about it. And when the time is right, sure, we'll put it on all the platforms, we'll make it accessible. But I think like just adding some more fucking mystery and value to shit, it couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. And I know it's a bit of a tangent. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep down this, but I've been thinking about that a lot. Like there is something, even like, I'll use this. Like Coachella happened. I don't know if I talked about that before. Maybe that happened during the last weekend or something. But like Bieber went up there and like I heard he didn't use the actual records of the songs because YouTube couldn't charge him for copyright or something like that if he fucking performed and didn't really perform the songs, just played them on YouTube. And like I get it. He's almost thinking like, fuck him. Like I'm not going to pay you the value you want for me as a performer to play these songs out of my catalog because I fucking sold my fucking, catalog to you and now you want to charge me to perform them. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to keep all the money. I'm going to do what I'm going to do because I don't believe that the value is there. He's Justin Bieber. I get it. This is a fucking unique situation. But I kind of get what he's going for. It's almost like, fuck you. Like, because things have become so like, how he's not getting paid on it. I'm not saying it's ethical, but in general, people used to live off of like royalties for music. They used to live off of fucking royalties for film. And now it seems like it is literally like do or die. Like you make the movie and you try and get as much up front as you can. If you're like a celebrity or something, or try and do a box office run, but like, get paid up front. Otherwise, like who knows if it'll even make money in an unfortunate circumstance that like streaming has just devalued the film. There's no way to really make money in the theater. There's no way to really stream something other than like VOD sales. If you really want to make money, which I hate to say it, there's many movies that are paywalled that like, if I really believe in the value, I'm like, fuck it, I'll buy it because I know I'll watch it again. There's some movies where I'm like, fuck, like I want to watch it right now, but I don't know if I'm going to buy it. I'll give you a great example of this. Just watch Paul Blart. We'll talk about it later. But Paul Blart 2 was not free on YouTube like Paul Blart 1 was. Paul Blart 2 was 10 fucking bucks or 15 bucks on Amazon. My point is, like, I didn't value Paul Blart enough to pay fucking $15 to own this movie, let alone rent it for like $9.99. But yes, I think that streaming and everything is like hitting kind of like a climax. It's a fucking peak. And what comes after that? Is it back to physical? Do people start putting value on like the human touch again and the world of AI? A lot of questions, a lot of fucking thoughts on it. But I guess at the core of all that is that I feel like exclusivity, things that exist in reality, the experience, perhaps even like holding something in your hand, like the DVD, the VHS tape, the fucking, I don't know, you sell the movie on a memory stick, you sell something that's real. People want to get back to reality. I think that's really true. And I'm really seeing this right now with social media and its relationship to like AI. Everything, like I get videos sent to me all the time, and it's just so hard to differentiate at this point. A lot like that movie Mountainhead. If you haven't seen it, Succession creator made it. It's out on HBO Max. Go watch it. It's just literally about what's happening right now in the world, and just kind of like how AI is going to cause confusion amongst the masses, and like we really won't be able to differentiate between reality and what AI is presenting to us, and not AI presenting to us, but people creating with AI and then sending it out into the world as if it is the reality, especially with the news and politics and shit. It's dangerous, and quite frankly, I think it's going to get to a point where people are going to have to either completely look the other way on it, or just really they're going to have to do some policing on it because it's getting too good. But that all brings me back to the point that I think reality is where people really want to be living. Even myself, like, I just turned 33, and I'm thinking like just more and more about like, like what was life like back when I was younger? It was different. Before the phone, before constantly being on a smartphone, like I fucking like, I've spent so much time on my phone. And I'm not alone. I know everybody's done this, and the phone is comforting and shit. But like lately, I've been literally putting my phone away. I'm just like, I'm fucking over it. What is the fucking point? Yeah, what is the fucking point of spending all this time scrolling and just fucking going down the rabbit hole of what? The next clip? I don't think people are meant to take in that much information. My attention span's fine. I definitely know that, like, I read something that I think it was Gen Z is like fucking dumber than millennials, right? In terms of like whatever the study is. I just saw this headline say they're like first generation in a long time to not be smarter than the generation before them. Well, I also started seeing all these posts saying like, hey, like the MacBook Air turns 20 this year, the iPad turns 16. It's like, well, fuck, you got kids that are 16 fucking years old or whatever, grew up with this iPad from a young age in that bracket of 16, probably 5+ years old, using this thing their entire childhood. Their brain only knows that. They don't know the time before technology booming, like in the way it did in the 2000s. And I don't know, I feel very lucky to have had that time before like everything changed. I was a 90s baby, so like I felt like the 80s and 90s in my childhood going into the 2000s where everything started, just cultural revolution in terms of technology. The cell phone evolved so fucking quickly. It wasn't like here's that brick phone. It was like, oh, here's a flip phone, here's a flip phone with speakers, camera, color screen, here's a fucking smartphone. It just happened so fast. Oh, going from texting, like, clicking a fucking button just to get like the fucking letter right, whatever they used to call that, to now everything's just like a keyboard. It's just, you can fucking text with your voice at this point. We're living in an interesting time. And I don't know, I just see this tech boom kind of not coming to a halt, but like AI, somebody said this the other day too. I liked it a lot. Somebody said like AI is getting boring already. I think it was fucking Steve Wozniak. He said, I'm already bored with AI. And I'm like, I think AI at this point, maybe there'll be the crazy sentient fucking AI takeover. Who knows? But for what it's worth, it's a good tool. AI is good. There's, filmmaking tools for it. There's application for like education, etc. Medical, so many things. You could go into so many fucking fields. AI is very good. It's also an incredibly powerful tool. I love using it. I use chat quite often, just like look shit up about like fucking life, universe, etc. But I get what like Wozniak was saying. I think he's saying like, dude, like at some point you're gonna be like, well, fuck, like I want to do it. Like I want to do something, like tangible, physical with my hands. I got really into cooking something that sure, like maybe they'll make a robot that can cook a fucking perfect pizza, but like I love the fact that I can make a perfect pizza. Lately, I've been looking into cement. This is random, but Stevie and I have been like really into cement. We've been talking about maybe we'll learn how to like craft with it and do micro cementing and shit like that, right? Just like craftsmanship stuff. And it's an art form in itself. And I'm like, well, yeah, like sure, maybe like it could be manufactured, but like I want to learn how to do it. There's something about knowing how to do it, nuts and bolts, that is just, it's pleasing as a human. And also it's like a new skill unlocked, a new part of your purpose. You're fucking trying to do something, like I can do it myself. It's like, I told Stevie too, and maybe I said this before on the pod. I feel like I have. If I was super rich and I could afford to like buy old cars and take them apart and know every fucking piece, I'd do it. I'd just like to know how this shit works. Why the fuck not? Why not know as much as you can? And I think I have a thirst for curiosity and just knowledge in life in general. So for me personally, that's something that I'm highly interested in. And that all relates back to my fucking rant on why I think technology and AI and social media and shit is getting boring. I think people are going to start wanting to see each other again, reality back, together. I also had somebody tell me this, and I can't, it's slipping my mind. They were an adult I was talking to the other day, but they said, I think COVID killed the hangout, just people wanting to get together and hang out. And like, it is true. I feel like right now that's a shift I'm feeling. I'm like, what the fuck are we all doing at our house? Like, let's get back to socializing like we were before. I used to see people so often. I used to go out so often, and maybe it's just me, but I don't think it is, because I've talked to people and they're like, things used to be a little different, before COVID, or like this, whatever, the social dynamic flip. Like people got really like quite literally socially distanced, right? And I can't believe I'm talking about COVID in 2026, by the way, but let's look at the repercussions. Hindsight's 2020. I definitely think it disrupted like the way people socialized, went out and fucking hung out and did shit. I think right now people are just like, it's like people are like back in the groove. They're like, hey, it's time to just get back out there and play, Anyways, I'll end this tangent on that. Let me check my fucking notes here. I had quite a bit going on. All right, I'll talk a little bit about something else I was doing. I've been conceptualizing this film for like a Salinas thriller, and Stevie and I started talking about it, and I've been kind of just telling him like my thoughts, and like just talking about it's helped me like kind of craft out the plot a little bit better. And I was making him some like fucking mock-ups too of like posters and stuff. And he's like, I get it now, like what you're going for. So like we're on the same page mentally, and like there's something about a hive mind kind of shared vision for something when you're working, especially if he's going to be acting in it, that helps paint the picture in terms of like, you get the character, you get the vibe, you get the tone. Well, now that we know that, we can have fun with it. We can start thinking about, like moments. I've been pitching him moments on just like things that I think like this is go with like, things that are very like, let's just say centric to Salinas or centric to the area. And he's like, okay, I get what you want. Oh, like how could we make that like a scene sometime? What's funny is usually I think completely in plot, but with this movie particularly, I've been thinking so much in scenes. And I think it's because I've been shooting so much fucking video and footage, is because I've been like just thinking like much more photographically lately in terms of like cinema. Eye candy perhaps is not the right word, but yeah, eye candy. I want it to look beautiful, but I also wanted to heavy sense of Americana in this film. It's interesting. I've got a vision for it clearly, and I think that's the thing about this movie is it feels more visionary than just straight like, plot. And I'm excited about that. There's like a new energy too with filmmaking. Like since it's been a while since I made Peninsula Nights, I've just come down off the high to the point where I'm like almost like not making another movie for the first time, but I'm like, I know what I need to do this time, but like I know I can do it however the fuck I want to do it. There's no rule book. I really feel like my mind is just like completely jailbroken. I don't need what I thought I needed in the past, and I just know what I need to do. It's almost like it's like full speed ahead. And it's a good headspace to be in, but I've been working on that movie. I haven't started writing it, but I've been doing like a tremendous amount of outlining because I really like, I think it is a little bit more crime centric, if you want to call it that, thriller centric. But I really want it to be like, if I'm going to throw my hat in that arena, I want it to be great. And that's what I've been thinking about is like, this idea is like, I got to think about it. I got to think about it. And the brewing and brewing and brewing on it. By the time I move into my new place, I promise you this thing will probably either be done or I'll be fucking writing it fucking aggressively. But that's been something I've been really like, every day I talk about it a little bit with Stevie, or I'm thinking about it. And there's other movies cooking too, but like this is the one that like I wouldn't call it just like limited crew, but I just know I could go out and make it. I've been shooting a lot of footage lately, and I'm like, yes, like I'm getting the results I want. I show it to people, and they're literally like, "That's what you're going for," or "It's what it felt like." And I'm like, "That's good. That's good. It's good to know that you can achieve what you're going for." Sorry, got a lot of notes here. I watched a lot of good movies this week. This one movie I watched, it's called Layover. It caught my eye. I saw I was just reading about low budget films, and this movie is called Layover 2014, and it says directed by Joshua Caldwell. Cinematographer was Eve Cohen. Starring Natalie Faye, Carly Landler, Bella Dane, Hal Osan. It's a little older movie. The thing that really intrigued me that was shot for $6,000 in 6 weekends on a Canon 5D Mark III, I believe. I loved shooting on DSLRs and stuff in the early 2010s. Probably from '09 on, I had a camera in my hand of that nature, and I shot more on the Canon 70. I did use the Mark 5D, the Canon 5D Mark III quite a bit as well, but the Canon 70 was the camera I used all the time. There's another movie called Like Crazy that was shot on it that was very popular as well. Felicity Jones, Anton Yelchin, or Yelchin, whatever his name is. Different movie, but seeing a movie like Layover shot on the Canon 5D, it really made me nostalgic for that time. Like, cause it was almost like the quality was like 1080, but there was something about the texture of the way the image looked. It felt like the time. Even watching it now, it almost made me nostalgic watching this movie because I'm like, God damn it. Like, I love that time. I love the way the fucking camera looked. I shot so much video during that time. It was very relatable. And even using, or not even that, watching them use this camera to shoot this movie, there was so much like leniency for where they could shoot. There were scenes inside LAX, there were scenes around locations that were high profile that because of the type of camera they were using, it gave them freedom to do whatever they wanted. And that was kind of like, I'd throw this movie into the mumblecore category. Maybe it was a little bit more budget than that like type of movie, but no, I'd say this is definitely like of the mumblecore nature, independent, low budget film. Okay. And this guy spawned a career. I saw he's made a few more movies, but I don't know. This movie really was good. It's kind of about a girl from France and she gets a layover in Los Angeles and she goes out for a night, and it was a cool movie. I really like the idea. It was almost all in French. They kind of forced that into the plot with like the character's friend being from France and some other people knew French, like somebody who's in fashion or this or that. It wasn't a stretch, but it was kind of like, all right, like it didn't bother me. I don't care. I like foreign fucking film movies. I don't care if it's in Korean or if it's in French or Chinese or Russian. I don't give a fuck. But it was just interesting. It felt like my only critique would maybe like that element felt a little heavy handed. I don't know if the actress literally couldn't speak English, but she was very good. This Natalie, I think Faye, or yeah, Natalie Faye. I think that's her name. 1 second. Sorry, I got fucking cotton mouth. Yeah, it is interesting film. Interesting film. And I love the nature. I love the story. I think it's something with movies too. It's like sometimes the story of the movie is just so cool. Like, oh, 6 grand, 6 weekends on a, small DSLR camera, small crew, skeleton. It reassures me that what I do can be done. And not only that, I love it. I get off on the idea that somebody's going out there making a movie for cheap and having success. I just love it. I think it's, one of the highest achievements you can do as far as artistic pursuit, and then build on that, of course. But yeah, it was a good movie. Really liked it. If you want to go find it, I think it was on Tubi. It was a cool little flick. Sometimes I've been like lately, I've been really firing away on movies. I'm just kind of like, fuck it. Like, I want to watch something right now. What can I find? What can I throw on? And just pull the trigger. That's another thing with streaming. I've just been having such a hard time just deciding. So like lately I've just been like, I see something, I read the title, I'm like, boom. Like I'm not even going to fucking humor another option because I'll be scrolling for hours. Anyways, Layover 2014. Go check it out. Great film. The next two movies I watched were both like, I think pretty close in time of release. Step Brothers, I don't have the dates on here. I don't know why I didn't put them on, but Step Brothers, '08, and then Superbad. Both these films, I call them close cousins. They're obviously different and different actors and stuff, but this period of time in comedy was just something about 2000s comedy that was so fucking good. Step Brothers, I don't need to give you the plot. You fucking have seen Step Brothers if you grew up in America and are around my age, or if not a little older and perhaps a little younger. But dude, Christine hadn't seen it and we watched it, and it was just, this is gonna sound like fucking Patrick Bateman. It was a laugh riot. It really was. Like, I have not watched a movie and laughed that much in a while. It was truly like laugh out loud funny. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, they are at the top of their fucking game in that movie. And that movie was so like that, Talladega, they did some other fucking flicks in between, but those movies were just, they were everywhere. Everyone knew them. You couldn't get away from them. People quoted them. There was something about everyone seeing those movies at the same time. Everyone got the jokes. Everybody was in on it. It was an inside joke. If you knew it, you knew it, right? Even movies like Borat, they had that same like cultural phenomenon where people were quoting it all the time. I kept telling, like, Stevie and I kept telling Christine, like, hey, like, there's line in like Step Brothers. I can't remember which one it was, but like that they just fucking you would hear all the time. Oh, like it's a Catalina fucking wine mixer, right? People would just say that. Yeah, I don't know if you were if when I was in high school and middle school, people just fucking say that sometimes. It's a Catalina fucking wine mixer, or they just throw out some of these lines. It's just funny when a movie gets so deeply ingrained in like the cultural lexicon that people throw those fucking phrases out there and people just know it. That is something that I do feel like is missing from modern films right now. Also, like to relate that in, like Boats and Hoes in the film Step Brothers was like not only was the movie funny and popular, but like Boats and Hoes, you go look it up on YouTube and watch the video, and like it added to the film, made the film feel a little larger than life. And perhaps it was because it was new and it was at that time they could cap on it and really make those moments feel even bigger and larger than life. But everyone knew Boats and Hoes. If you said Boats and Hoes, people were like, oh yeah, Step Brothers, dude, what a funny movie. It was the movie everyone saw that summer or that weekend or that fucking time of the year. That is something I really think has like, it's just kind of gone away from society. There's certain things that hit cultural peak and like get the cultural phenomenon, element where they're everywhere. But these days it seems like social media is really the dictator of that. And I just think it's unfortunate because the theater used to be the dictator of that. And I still think like movies and shit push like culturally, like they have the impact they did, but it's something about everyone seeing it at the same time, everyone knowing it, especially with a movie like Step Brothers. Like Step Brothers was so big. And I kept telling Christine that I'm like, this wasn't just like, it wasn't just like a movie. It was a movie that like had an impact on the audience that lasted for years. Talladega Nights, the same fucking thing. I'll get into Superbad in a second, but like Superbad, the same thing. It was a movie that when you saw it, you told someone about it. Like, you gotta see this fucking movie. Step Brothers was the same way. I remember Step Brothers going and seeing it several times in theaters because it was the movie of the summer. I want to say it came out in a July release or May release. I can't remember. It was just fucking '08. So I think it was though, because I remember like I went and saw it, loved it. My buddy wanted to see it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll go with you. Whatever. It was a movie you'd go back to see. It was like The Dark Knight. That movie came out. People went and saw it a few times. It called you back, and there's a reason. Or you just wanted to see it again. You laughed so hard you missed the joke last time, and that was the value. Is like it was worth going again. Yeah, that was a very special time in comedy. And look, like I'm very optimistic about film. I think like Hollywood's making shitty movies. That doesn't mean that fucking everyone is or intends to. And like sometimes it's old blood. They got to get new blood in there. And fucking, I'd even go into say like that was like when like, Will Ferrell wasn't like new, but like he and John C. Reilly had been working in the business for a bit. They'd finally gained their traction. They were up next. They had like fucking Old School. I knew fucking John C. Reilly some more like serious films. To be honest, I knew him more as a dramatic actor outside of Step Brothers. But when they made those movies, they were right on time for them. And then I'd say even like Seth Rogen and fucking Evan Goldberg making Superbad, they were right on time for themselves too, around '07, '08. Seth Rogen had a big year during that Superbad Knocked Up era. He had both those movies come out in the same year or around the same time. He had just done Knocked Up, or not Knocked Up, he had just done 40-Year-Old Virgin. So like there was this explosion of those guys culturally, as well as John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell in the comedy scene. The Apatow crew with like, Rogen and them. They were just everywhere. And these guys kind of defined that era of comedy. Not even kind of, they fucking did. I'd also say Todd Phillips, the guy who did The Hangover and he did Starsky and Hutch and he did Old School. That little, bullpen of talent per se, those guys really fucking shaped comedy and American comedy in the sense that like what people were seeing around the world was that humor. They really defined an era. Superbad on that note, different brand of comedy in terms of like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's humor, but still in that vein of absurdity where like you watch the movie and like it's larger than life. McLovin rolling around with the cops, Seth going to the try and get alcohol at the fucking the local fucking grocery store, Evan trying to fucking hook up with a chick and like finally coming to terms with like maybe I don't have to do all the things everybody says I need to do. Like very relatable, very true. Back in 2007 or when I was in high school, people were trying to live that super bad fucking night. Like I promise you, like I have gone out and tried to live it. And dude, I've been in those fucking situations. Back in the day too, like maybe there's like a lack of police these days, but like I remember there's like the risk of getting like a cop rolling up or like getting called in or getting arrested. It was high. Like you were afraid as a teenager. You didn't want to smoke weed in the car. You didn't want to drink beer in fucking public. You might get arrested or ticketed. You might end up going to fucking jail. That stakes were fucking higher. And that movie captured it. The stakes were high at that point in time in America, at least. They captured it's a snapshot of that fucking time. The late 2000s, being a teenager, they fucking nailed it. They hit it right on the fucking head. And there's something about that. Like, you know, they were able to really like capture the essence of just being like a senior in high school. They really did it. That director, God, his name's escaping me right now. He also did Adventureland. I'm a big fan, actually. Greg Mortola. I'm not surprised he directed Superbad. He did a fantastic job. He's a little bit more slept on, perhaps, than I'd say, like maybe the writers and directors and actors of those films. But I mean, Superbad, amazing. Adventureland, I'd say a much more mature, lived-in version of maybe like that teenage lifestyle, kind of maybe like post high school. Yeah, post high school lifestyle when you get a job that's kind of shitty. I won't get into Adventureland. I'm just kind of fucking tying it in here because of the director. But Superbad was another movie, like I was talking about Step Brothers. It's just like it was nonstop laughter. I could not stop fucking laughing. There was also lines in there that I was just like, I literally it was like Stevie and I kept telling Christina, like, you don't understand. Like, there's a scene where like Jonah Hill says something to like Dave Franco's character. He goes like, "Oh, like people don't forget." Uh, and I was just like, people used to say that, just like people don't forget, like just the one-liners, the quips, uh, the lines that like it was just like everybody knew it. There was something about that communal viewing that everybody knew it, and it was like peak culture. People just like were associated with it. I would say it's like, you know, like how like right now the 6-7 thing is like a fucking, you know, all the rage. That's like a meme that was born in reality, but like it lives in the meme culture on the internet. That's what people know now as their cultural reference, like 6-7, you know, versus fucking these movie lines and stuff. And like I said, I'm optimistic about movies. I'm not even trying to say like movies aren't having the impact, but I think it's just like people that do watch movies, they're going to get the references. They're going to understand the impact. Uh, People that aren't really like tuned in with like that shit, like, and only on the internet, like I feel like they're going to start falling behind because I feel like the internet culture and shit, like it's starting to feel like a little expired. And maybe that doesn't sound good as somebody who's doing like podcasting and stuff to say, but I think even podcasting, there's some integrity with it beyond it just being memeable or whatever. And like, there's actually something probably more human and connective about this, perhaps, than say just watching like regular media. And I don't mean movies. I'm talking about like the news, or I'm talking about shit that's very manufactured or put together or performative. Nobody wants to see something performative anymore. Stevie and I have been talking about this lately. Performative shit feels like out of touch. It feels dated. I'm not talking Steve Harvey on Family Feud being performative and doing his shtick. I love Steve Harvey. I love that shit. I want TV to stay how TV's felt. I want it to feel like the safe, secure, polished production that it is, like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. There's something comforting about that as well. But in general, I think like with the internet, it just feels like it feels like something's going on social media where like the AI, the timelessness of it. I know I'm talking super bad. I'm bringing this in, but like it all comes back to kind of even the movies I've been watching. There's been a lot of nostalgia and like that way we used to live. And I do think that's going to be something that's like disconnecting from technology to the extent of like not being chronically online or not being chronically on your phone or scrolling, doom scrolling, whatever you want to call it, is going to be the new mental health like activity, is just disconnecting from that shit. Don't read your comments. Don't do this. Don't do that. Just stay natural. The brain was not meant to be on these technologies all the time. And perhaps it's good if we just distance ourselves from it a little bit. I know I sound like a fucking, you know, I'm a broken record, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I've been trying to actively be like less dependent on my phone for entertainment, less dependent on my phone for technology. I don't mind listening to something. I think that's a little different, but screen time, constantly staring at the screen and just like ignoring the world around you and not living in the moment and being conscious of like everything around you. That to me feels like where I'm at, where I'm like kind of like it's getting old looking at my screen. There's a whole world around me. I want to see that and live in that and be in that. So little thought, just, you know, on that note. Anyway, Superbad, fucking amazing. Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Seth Rogen, Bill Hader, Emma Stone. I mean, it's just a fucking star fest. Great fucking movie, timeless, classic. If you haven't seen Superbad, you're fucking just go watch it. Don't fucking sleep on this shit. I think it was on Amazon when I watched it, maybe Tubi, but and especially if you're a younger listener, like if you haven't seen Superbad, go watch it and then go have some fucking fun. The next movie I watched was Ricky Stanicky. I've been burning a lot of movies lately just because, dude, I'm at the house. Like I said, I live in like a movie set. it's like a staged home. I can't do anything there. I don't eat there. I don't cook there. So I've been throwing on movies I wouldn't normally watch. Ricky Stanicky, director Peter Farley, writers Peter Farley, Brian Jarvis, Jim Freeman, cinematographer John Brawley, cast Zac Efron, John Cena, Jermaine Fowler, and they don't have him on here, but Andrew Santino, who was very good in this movie. Look, I don't usually watch a lot of like brand new movies or modern movies, but I took the risk of watching this film because fuck it. I was like, you know what? How bad could 2 hours of my time be? And I was pleasantly surprised. I believe this is one of the Farley brothers, Peter Farley. So he's a classic comedy director, but um, I'd say Dumb and Dumber, some of his other films. I'm not 100% accurate on all of his filmography, but this movie was good. The concept is Zac Efron and his friends, Santino and the other guy, Fowler, they create a fake person to blame a crime on when they're kids, and they use them as their scapegoat through the rest of their years, right? They're actually on Halloween, they try and put a bag of shit on somebody's porch, light it on fire, and they don't come to the door. No one's home. The fire starts catching the house on fire, and they go to step on the shit. It gets everywhere, starts the fire. The house is like burning down. And before they leave, they write the name Ricky Stanicky on a jacket with a marker and they leave it. And the police are always looking for Ricky Stanicky from that day on. So their whole childhood up into their married life, they've been using this as their excuse, right? Anyways, they use the Ricky Stanicky guy as an excuse to get out of a baby shower while they're on vacation in Atlantic City. They meet a guy, John Cena, who's like this weird, like almost like male stripper performer type, like casino type. And they're like, fuck this guy, whatever. They kind of have like a little like evening with him and then part ways. The next day though, they get a call saying like, oh, like, hey, like your wife is having the baby. You need to get back to wherever they were from. I think Baltimore or something. So anyways, they get back. Santino misses his wife's fucking baby delivery. And she's like, you need to fucking call your friend Ricky and we need to meet him because he's fucking things up for us now. Like, and they also made up a lie saying that Ricky had cancer. They had to go visit him. And turns out Ricky didn't have cancer. They have to make up a story and pivot, and they have to find someone to be Ricky to get John Cena. That's the only guy they know. He's also like a professional actor. So from then on, you get the plot. They have to use John Cena as a friend. They kind of train him on all their events. They kept like a log of all the Ricky Stanicky hangouts so they could like reference them in case their wives brought it up. And they give it to him. He studies the history of Ricky Stanicky, and he like becomes him. He becomes like a method actor, fucking quits drinking alcohol, gets sober just for the role. Totally goes like the whole 9 yards, and everybody starts liking the guy and believing him. He gets hired at their work. It escalates. Anyways, I won't ruin the movie, but very funny, very original, and honestly, like for a modern comedy, sometimes modern comedies are a little too stale. They're a little too soft. They're a little too politically correct. They don't feel like they have much bite. They're not very edgy. They're trying to please everyone. This one had some like, if you want to call it woke shit, but honestly, it was very light and it was very good. Who cares? The movie delivered comedically. I was actually, I really watched it for Efron. I'm not even like a John Cena fan. I don't dislike him. I'm just indifferent. Andrew Santino, interesting. I was like, I heard him talk about it on Bad Friends a while back. I'm like, maybe I'll watch it. They also shot this movie in Australia, which is random because it was supposed to be like an East Coast movie, whatever, besides the point. The movie was good. It was actually a comedy I'd probably watch again. If I was fucking just bored and threw it on, I would be laughing. It was interesting too. It was a movie. I hadn't seen a movie like this in a while that really made use of their locations. Like a lot of the scenes were long. They did not shy away from a long scene. I'm talking like a 10 or 20 minutes like segment of the movie where they're like house party. Here's an event they're at, this or that. And they really like it. Sometimes when a movie does that, you get comfortable in the setting. You could really like get into the world. And I'll say that for like a comedy, like Ricky Stanicky delivered, very funny, very original. Hadn't seen something like that in a while. And like I said, mostly watching for Efron. Santino's cool too. Ceno's great. He was fucking hilarious. Honestly, I'm a fan of his comedy work at this point because of this movie. Maybe I've been sleeping on him, but like typically I associate him with other shit. But yeah, very funny and very stupid, but like the type of movie you'd throw on. I'd almost call it kind of like a cabin movie, like a movie you'd throw on like a fucking lake day. You're just like, all right, throw that fucking shit on. It's going to be fun. It's going to be easy. And there's a little bit of heart in there too. I mentioned it earlier, but we just watched Paul Blart Mall Cop. Look, I wasn't like a huge Mall Cop fan. I'd seen it in the past. Didn't really watch it that often. It was a movie like I'd seen. I love Kevin James. I think he's fucking hilarious, but it's kind of a movie that just existed for me. And I'd seen it once and like that was enough. We threw it on. Christine, Stevie, and I were watching at my parents' house. It was just on YouTube, and I fuck it. Like we'd started it the night before. I'm like, let's just throw it back on. Let's finish it. Director Steve Kerr, writers Kevin James, Nick McKay, cinematographer is Russell Carpenter, cast Kevin James, Keira O'Donnell, Jima Mays. I think Jima Mays plays the love interest to Kevin James in the movie. The movie's great. I don't need to explain Paul Blart to you. He's a pretty interesting character. I think Kevin James tends to play kind of his type, which is like kind of like a schlubby, chubby loser, but also lovable and good heart. Kind of your not anti-hero, but like your, underdog, which is the typical of like a Happy Madison Sandler production. One thing that stood out to me about this movie when I was watching it was the way it looked. I saw some things in like the way the camera moved, and I was like, huh, what did they shoot this movie on? Because it's definitely not 35 millimeter film, but it looks fucking amazing. It was gorgeous the way it was shot. So I looked it up on IMDb, and it said it was shot on the Panavision Genesis HD. So this movie shot in 09. That means this camera was probably made in 07, 08, 09, that time. I saw it was discontinued in 2012, and it used Panalog color, which is like, look, I deep dive on cameras. I was just like, what is this? Why? It's interesting. 2009 was an interesting year in digital cinema. Panavision was still making their own proprietary, like, fucking sensors and their own cameras and lenses. And the next year, there's a big shift is like when Red really, like, they've been making their Monstro sensor for a bit, but like, or maybe not the Monstro. Oh, whatever it is. Their other sensor, the one previous to it, Mysterium, I believe. But 2010, like, kind of changed everything. Like, from 2010 on, like, productions in 09 must have been shooting on Red, because Red just took over. Ari just took over the market. Like, you don't hear about Panavision using their own proprietary technology. Even I've rented Panavision stuff. They are going to tell you that the sensor's a Red sensor, but it's in a Panavision body with fucking, their own fucking Reds with Panavision fucking mounts that you cannot get anywhere. You can't buy them. They're non-rentable. They're like custom made proprietary, but they're not making the camera in terms of the sensor, right? So I just think it's funny that they were doing it, and then these other brands crept into the market and just like swept, because Red was all the hype and all the rage in 2010. That was like what people were using for cameras for movies. Every big movie was just like, we're going to use that. We're going to shoot Red, or we're going to shoot Ari Alexa, or Amira. They had a lot of different versions of it, but Ari became the, rage. And like, it's just funny that watching Paul Blart, it was still, I wouldn't call it primitive, but it was still early HD, like 35 millimeter digital video cinema. It's just funny because that, like, cinema camera era, Stevie and I were talking about this too. We almost feel like the cinema camera era is coming to an end, in sense of like the box camera, like people wanting that model. Like, you can get a Sony, you can get whatever you want. If you know how to use it, you'll get a beautiful image. But these high-end cinema cameras, like, they're either going to be reserved for the utmost quality, or they're going to be for people that want to compete or enthusiastic about films. But the further I get in, the more I think about cameras, it's kind of like just, what's the tool that'll help you do the most? And at that time in the 2010s, I get it. Like, I've owned some of the older models of the Red camera from the 2010s. They were huge. They were behemoths. Probably really only practical use was with the studio crew. And at that time, it was an interesting time in cameras and digital cinema. Digital cinema was really there's still movies being made on 35. There's shit still being, Paul Blart's 09 being shot on this Panavision Genesis HD, but Dark Knight in 2012 is still being shot on 35 millimeter, 65 millimeter film. 2015 Interstellar is being shot on 65 millimeter. 2019, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is being shot on 35 millimeter. The market was going to go back, or was going to go digital either way. There was no stopping it. 35 millimeter at this point is a privilege, and it's probably, in my opinion, a little bit of a nightmare to cut unless you're fucking scanning that shit to digital. But I digress. My point is that for a moment in time, that digital camera market was anybody's game, and then something happened between the time they created that, because they discontinued this camera in 2012. I'm not saying like Red took over, but something happened between 09 and 2012, or when they discontinued the camera, where Red and Ari just swept the market with their digital cinema cameras. Blackmagic's also a contender. They were in there as well, but they were just never as premium and or mainstream as those brands, other than maybe their technology with DaVinci Resolve became very, very practical use and everyday use in like major Hollywood studios, but their camera equipment, their hardware never was as good as their software. I digress. Lots of thoughts. Didn't think Paul Blart would fucking make me think of that, but it did. Also watching Paul Blart, just to get back to the movie, it was fucking, once again, it was a comforting film. It was totally funny. Laughed the whole fucking time. Kevin James, some of his finer work, knowing that he wrote the script too, reading that, dude, he wrote himself a part that he's like, I can be this guy. Like, I know who this guy is. And maybe that's sometimes the best thing, is when the writer If not, the comedian is the person who's like, I know who I need to be for this part. I know how to be this person. So, food for thought. Anyways, fucking A. Like I said, it's been a long week. Been moving, been fucking grooving, trying to do it all. Trying to do it all. And stay creative. Been working on Let Depot audition, some stuff with that with marketing too. Uh Cooking up some new conspiracy music as well. Been writing a bunch of shit. That'll probably drop in a little bit. The first album we really put out because we just needed it out there to listen to. We kept fucking having to go back to like the fucking Finder folder and listen, and it's just like it was time. We all agreed. And then what else has been going on? Really just the move. The filmmaker mindset. I talked about it earlier. That I just, it's only been a few days since the book was published, maybe a week or two. It feels good. It feels like a new chapter. Like I said, everything feels like it's forward momentum, new chapter. Just moving on, getting on to the next thing, and like bigger and better, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, I think that's about all I got, guys. I'm fucking tired as hell. It's been a long day. We showed the house today, and it was just a long day. A lot of people, and yeah, I think hopefully everything keeps moving forward. Like I said, I think it'll be interesting to get this move over with and just get into the new place. But once we're there, I mean, Stevie's health also, I didn't really talk about it, but his health has been much better. I think there's a bit like weight lifted from his shoulders too, getting out of this place and just everything changing. I think it's just like environment's so important. And, even growing up at my parents' house, like the environment, like I said, was so in tune with nature. And I was out here all the time. And like I did some of my best ideas out here, my best thinking, wrote a ton of music out here, wrote a lot of scripts out here, wrote Peninsula Nights, the first draft. Actually, probably like most of the movie was written here, aside from like touch ups when we were doing actual production. Because we went into production when I moved into this other place. But yeah, I mean, this is where I wrote P Nights. So there's a good spiritual and also like artistic, vibe that I identify with in this house and this environment. But anyways, like I said, I think that's about all I got. I'll definitely do another one of these. I thought it was gonna be way harder to do a pod out here, and like it's a temporary location, but I felt like it was good. I felt like it was good for the first one in a minute, and just being in a new environment and kind of just in a change of life. Anyways, guys, I'm Devin Thomas. Hold on. I think that's about all I got. I'm Devin Thomas. This has been another episode of Unscripted. I'll talk to you all next week.